Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says he is encouraged by peace talks between a U.S. envoy and Afghan Taliban officials. The BBC's Islamabad correspondent Secunda Kamandi reports that even though some issues remain to be worked out, both sides say progress is being made.
The war in Afghanistan has been going on for 17 years now, but it certainly does seem that there's a gathering momentum to these preliminary peace negotiations. Principally, that progress has occurred in two key areas. One, when American troops will be withdrawn from Afghanistan, which has been a key Taliban demand. And in return, getting a commitment from the Taliban that they won't allow Afghanistan to be turned into a kind of international base for jihadist groups like Al-Qaeda. But both the US and the Taliban acknowledge that there are outstanding issues. Crucially, we haven't seen any news of a ceasefire. And at the moment, the Taliban are still yet to agree to begin direct negotiations with the Afghan government in Kabul. They dismiss that government as puppets.
Federal workers are preparing to return to their jobs with pay after President Trump signed a bill that reopens the government for 3 weeks. The measure is intended to give lawmakers time to negotiate a deal on border security and immigration. But Cairo Dalmeida, TSA agent at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, is among those expressing skepticism.
They're going to try to do in 3 weeks what they can do in 5 weeks. So any one of us that ask her, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to shut down the government again. That's what we all think. They're going to do it again. Because what? A vanity wall?
President Trump has warned that if he does not get a fair deal by the February 15th deadline, the government could either shut down again or he could use his executive authority. To Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro has backed down from an order that Washington withdraw its diplomats by this weekend. NPR's Philip Reeves reports the U.S. plan to ignore the expulsion as it no longer recognizes Maduro as president.
Maduro severed relations with Washington on Wednesday after it recognized an opposition leader, Juan Guaido, as Venezuela's interim president. Diplomats were given 3 days to leave. The U.S. rejected this, saying it's keeping its embassy open, although families and some non-essential staff have left. With the deadline looming, Maduro has retreated from a possible showdown. He says he's suspending the expulsion to provide a 30-day window to negotiate setting up scaled-down offices in both capitals. The U.S. regards his decisions as invalid, as it recognizes Guaido as Venezuela's president, and Guaido said throughout that the embassy should stay. It comes as pressures mounting on Maduro. Guaido summoned his supporters to the streets for a week of protests. Philip Reeves, NPR News, Caracas.
And you're listening to NPR News.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a very good morning to you out there. It's we have liquid sunshine in Florida today, believe it or not. A lot of liquid sunshine going on just about all of the southern portion of South Florida. I looked at the radar earlier, and it appeared to be almost like a what would you call it? A depression, almost like a cyclone depression. There's a counterclockwise movement right over the state. It's about dead center over the state, and it is making it kind of miserable for us who like to go out and enjoy the outside. But nevertheless, we are here. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you, and I am, of course, trying to hide from what's going on outside, but inside, it's great in here. And this morning I have Pam Worth with me. Of course, Pam is one of the most gracious people that I know. She always takes the time to call in and allow me to kind of help me walk through the show, because I don't pretend to be a professional, but this is somebody who is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. Always an honor to have her on. Welcome and good morning, Miss Pam.
Sir, glad to be on, and yeah, it is drizzly, rainy, and cold here in Tampa.
I'll tell you what. I looked at the radar, and it's all. There's nowhere. You're not going to be able to get away from this today.
Yeah, that's what I saw. When I looked at the weather on Thursday to try to plan my fishing, it was like 90% chance of rain on Sunday. So I've got my tackle in front of me. I have my split nose pliers in front of me. So I'm going to be changing out hooks on some of my lures.
There you go. She excuse me. She lives by her words. Excuse me, I swallowed and went down the wrong way. My goodness. And did you do any fishing?
Yeah, I did. I got out yesterday. This is an interesting story. A buddy of mine last weekend caught a tag CCA star redfish. Well, this is not tournament time, but if you had actually signed up for the 2019 star tournament, even though it doesn't start until the end of May, and caught one of the fish that were released last year, you had $1,000. You could win $1,000 in Igloo, not Igloo, but Engel Cooler products. Well, he didn't sign up, but my other girlfriend, who was right behind him, had. And if she had gotten there first, she would have gotten that redfish. But Dave he'll get a T-shirt from CCA, but not $1,000 prize package. So anybody thinking about fishing CCA and fishing redfish throughout the state of Florida, man, it costs just the same. Go enter now. Don't wait till May.
You know what I like about them is that they promote. I don't know what's going on with my throat this morning. They promote a better environment for everybody. Everybody wins. Those are the kind of things that I like to promote, where everybody wins, where everybody benefits, and they do that. I think I'm right about this. They're the only ones that I've ever heard of that have a category for trash. Is that them?
That's it. That's Lisa and the Star Tournament. Yeah, and they get out there. They don't just do that. They work throughout the year to promote conservation, and they actually stand behind what they do. They're up in the state as well as the national legislature working on Clean Water Acts. And a couple of years I helped them with one of their projects down near Honeymoon Island, where we actually put together oysters, took them out by boat, and then 10-pound bundles of oysters, handed them off from person to person to build an artificial type of reef in the back to help more oysters grow.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's the kind of stuff I like to promote. I got to tell you, it's the kind of stuff I like to hear about, where we are doing something to help the environment instead of destroy the environment, because you look around us and we are just not doing a good job of taking care of the very platform that gives us the opportunity to live.
Yeah.
So
the nice thing about projects like that is they turn around and like building an oyster bed. Oysters surf and clams clean so much of the bay water or the coastal waters.
Filters,
it's amazing.
Yep.
They take a lot of toxins out. So
they are the filters.
It's a great project.
Yeah. I'm always happy to promote something like that. That's why I like having Captain Neil with what is it, 360 Oceanaid 360, I think it is, and Liza with CCA. Always happy to have people like that on, because they help. Everybody wins. That's the kind of thing. So speaking about winning, we have Robert Warner. He's a winner as well. Good morning, Robert. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine.
Good morning, Riscala, and good morning, Pam. How are you?
Great.
Well, I hope the weather's better wherever you are than it is where I am.
I doubt it. Where are you at?
Well, we ended up not going to Georgia because the weather was so bad, so I scheduled to go shoot a video this morning with Patrick Price from Daymaker Charters, and that's not going well. We are at the marina. It is pouring here. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's a day that you want to be out there on the ocean today.
Well, we were just going to shoot a fishing report, and you can't even find a place quiet enough to do that. So.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So have you done any fishing this last week?
No, I've been working on the magazine all week. It comes out Monday, the new issue. But after that, I'm going fishing. When I get this thing done Monday, I am leaving and going fishing. So
Monday's tomorrow.
Yes, I know. And I'm aware, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. But
oh, Lord. Monday comes so quickly.
Yes, it does. But we scheduled to do a fishing report this morning. We're not going to be able to do that, obviously. So That's actually the last thing missing from the magazine is his fishing report. Everything else is done. Thank you, Pam. I finally got all that stuff. So.
Oh, good.
Well, I'll be working on on some information that you can use. I hope you can use about me and the show and how we got to where we're at. Yep. Yeah, for the next one. That's right. And people want to watch. People want to see.
I can tell you this: the fishing up until this weather arrived was really good, and hopefully after this front comes through, it'll be really good again, because normally it is after a front. I was talking to some folks up in Sebastian, and they expect that. I guess the flounder move in closer every time the cold front comes through. And the one guy I was talking to said after this one comes through, they should be on the beach looking for warmth. So.
Be out there getting a tan.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, and I lost my train of thought. Pam, go ahead. I am lost.
No, I love flounder is one of my favorite fish to eat. I don't keep very many fish, but I wish we could figure out a way to let Florida know that a 12-inch flounder is kind of silly to keep. There's no fillet on it, and they make the limit like 15, where we could get some decent-sized fish.
Well, they're catching some nice ones up in Sebastian. They're getting some 6-8 pound flounder up there, or they were until this cold front came through. Like I said, they'll probably be even closer after this one comes through. So.
Wow.
Dang, I gotta do a East Coast trip.
Some nice fish there now.
Yeah, they are, and they're great to eat. So.
I've always thought that was one of the weirdest looking fishes in the world. Both eyes on one side of the fish, and I understand
they are,
why.
And they love finger mullet.
Really? No way.
That's the whole key, is finding finger mullet. So.
No way. I thought they were bottom fish.
They are. You just take a finger mullet, sort of bounce it across the bottom until you feel that tug.
Oh, see, I'm always learning. I don't know why, but I thought they were like bottom feeders, like crabs and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, they are, but they definitely love finger mullet.
Wow. Silly me. I'm thinking finger mullet. How's this fish going to catch a finger mullet? But
they have a pretty good sized mouth. They can. They have no problem with that.
Wow.
They got two eyes on one side, but they got a good sized mouth. So.
Yeah, they're an ambush predator. They'll sit and try to they'll even put a little bit of sand on them. So when they're especially in shallow water and those finger mullet come by, it's like all of a sudden, boom.
Oh, wow.
And when I know the first one, you're going to laugh at me, the first one that I caught that was of size, the guys are like, come on, Pam, come on. And I go, I'm stuck on the coral again. I'm stuck on the bottom. I go, hold on a minute. I hooked into a rock. And it wasn't until it was maybe 5 yards from the boat that it figured out that it was hooked and started fighting. So I go, oh my gosh, I have a fish. I thought I had a rock on.
Yeah, they are a little different type of fight than you're used to if you're. So.
Wow, I went fishing with one of my grandkids, and they caught a little fish. But on the way up, the sinker hooked a part of I think it was a rock or part of an oyster. But on the way up, he said, Poppy, I'm stuck on the bottom, so I'm helping him bring it up. I go, this is awful. And I could feel the fish swimming, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was. When we got it up, there was this rock. He thought he had caught this huge fish. There was this rock and this little fish on the other end of the line. It was funny.
So you got both.
Yeah, we got
the rock and the fish.
We got a twofer. Mm-hmm. 2 for 1.
Happy hour. There you go.
Well, Robert, regarding any of the tournaments that are going on, can you tell me about anything that's happening right now?
None that are happening today, that's for damn sure. But excuse me. Actually, the reason I was going to see Patrick is he just fished another sailfish tournament. They did very well. This is, again, that time of year, so there will be sailfish tournaments going on. Down further south into Miami and Fort Lauderdale and down into the Keys, the mahi had returned in great numbers.
Wow.
And Jack Carlson caught an entire boatload of tuna the other day with 6 people on board.
Wow.
He must have come in with 15 good-sized blackfin tuna. So
nice.
The tuna are out there, and all the fish are out there. They're just waiting for this weather to clear so you can go catch them. So.
That's amazing. Years ago when I had my boat and we went fishing, I caught a couple of tuna. To me, it was almost like having, if it were possible, a fish that would be a pig. This thing was so full of meat, it was unbelievable. And my
that's
friend,
how you separate the men from the boys too, because it's funny. We've taken some of these big weightlifter kind of guys out there, and you get them on a good sized tuna, and about 20 minutes in, they look like they're going to die. So.
Well, so I called my friend and I said, "What's the best way to cook it?" And he said, "Well, there's a couple of ways, but what I like to do is I get the fillets out and I boil them." I go, "Oh, that doesn't sound very good." He goes, "Trust me, if you boil it, you got to open all the windows in the house. But if you want, like tuna, like out of the can, but even better, you boil it." So I didn't take his advice about opening all the windows. I opened up a couple of windows. Well, my goodness, when I decided to get that stuff boiling, I had to open the doors, the windows, everything in the house. It was horrible. But I'll tell you what, when we were done, it was amazingly good. Oh, my gosh. It was better than any other tuna I've ever had in my life. Fresh tuna was just nothing like it. So we did some of that, and then we took some.
When we go out, we normally just sear it real quick on each side, get out some soy sauce, and
that was the second way that I cooked it on the barbecue outside.
Yep. That's where all fish is cooked in my house, outside. So,
yep.
By my wife's request. So.
Well, anything else you want to share with us before you go there, Mr. Robert?
Well, like I said, the new magazine will be out tomorrow, probably by noon. I'm just waiting to do this one report. Patrick and I are going to schedule this again for tomorrow morning and try it again. Once I get that in there, the magazine is finished, and it will be out tomorrow, probably by around noon. It will be at flfishmag.com. It will be emailed to all the subscribers, and it will be up on our Facebook page as well. So,
and they can find it at flfishmag.com, correct?
That is our website, or they can find us at Florida Fisherman Magazine on Facebook.
Great. Well, Robert, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. It's always an honor and a privilege to have you on. You've always got all kinds of information for me, and it saves me, honestly, from having to go out and look and try to find, okay, what's going on that I can tell the listeners about. So you're always up to date with that stuff, and I greatly appreciate it. I wish you a wonderful day, regardless of the weather. Get out there and enjoy something.
Well, I just wanted to stop raining at this point. So you guys have a great day, and I'm going to sit here trapped in the rain. So liquid
sunshine.
Yes, sir. Well, there's a lot of it coming down. It's beautiful out there. So you guys have a great day.
Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciate it. My friends, don't go away.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Chris Keller. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Britney's face is so stupid, and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it.
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 Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
We will let the world know that we're going to take action with the I.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Shark, fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Always something going on with this crazy thing that I do over here. This my little computer that I run all of this stuff on. It wants to do things on its own. Sometimes I wonder if it has its own mind. Anyway, it is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and privilege to be with you. Again, my co-host, Pam Worth, one of the top female kayak anglers. I don't think she's going to be doing any kayaking today. I think it's not a very welcoming day for that kind of stuff. So anyway, good morning, Miss Pam, and thank you for joining in.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. Yep, today is a tackle day. I'm going through my tackle box and I'm reorganizing, getting ready for more of my winter lures and putting hooks on some of my hard baits.
So, like I said earlier, a person that lives by their words. I had asked you one time before, what do you do on days when you're not going to go fishing? And that's exactly what you told me. Get out the tackle box, get out the hardware, start working and cleaning and maintaining, and be ready for the next day.
There you go. That way you have everything organized. And right now, speaking of organization, my workbench or my tackle where I keep most of my excess tackle out in the garage, it looks like a hurricane hit it. So, sometimes it just kind of gets out of the car and dumped after it's cleaned instead of put away. So I need to, as my husband would say, tidy things up.
There you go. Yeah, and be prepared, as they used to tell me in Boy Scouts, be prepared.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you can't go fishing today. It's not going to be a day that's going to be very welcoming. When I looked at the radar earlier today, I was really kind of surprised to see we have, I can't think of the word, circulation. I don't know if that's the right word, but directly over the state. If I didn't know any better, it would look like the beginning of a hurricane.
Yeah, it's a high front meeting a low front. Yep.
And it's really not doing us much good. Anyway, my next guest, I think that we had a crossing of the wires. I think that they have mistaken it for next week because they should have called in by now, and obviously they haven't. So we'll move on to another thing. Your next, are you involved in a tournament coming up?
Yes, I do. Excuse me. In about 2 weeks, I think it's the 17th of February, that weekend, the IFA starts up for us. And our first stop is Jacksonville. So everybody in Jacksonville, if you have any hints or secret spots for redfish and trout, please let me know. I'm going to be heading over there and pre-fishing for the next couple weeks.
Is it a
and,
catch and release
one of my
kind?
sponsors, Native Watercraft, it's in the fall, but they're having a bass tournament. So I need to learn how to catch bass because I pretty much stay out of fresh water.
We'll have to hook
So
you
it's
up
gonna
with.
be a new adventure.
We'll have to hook you up with Mike Lindell. Mike is
There you go.
Mike puts on the what is that called, the Everglades, the King of the Everglades
Yeah.
tournaments, and it's all about brackish freshwater fishing back there. I'm sure he can give you all kind of pointers. You know who else would probably give you some pointers? He's going to be calling in this morning. Captain Clyde. Captain Clyde will be calling in this morning. He's the crappy psychic, as they refer to him. So he'll probably give you some
That's
pointers
right.
as well.
Excellent, excellent.
So we'll have hopefully we'll have a little more information for you with regard to doing that kind of thing. I would wonder what would happen, because I know you have that pedal thing like a bicycle. You get into the shallow water in the bracket, a lot of the bracket stuff, there's a lot of weeds and stuff, so you may have to paddle. You may not be able to pedal. You'll have to paddle. Now I know why my mom had such a hard time with the language.
Well, plus I have a weed guard on it, so
Oh, cool.
it helps and it protects me from getting it caught in the prop or anything like that. But that's not an issue. And I have exciting news. I'm going to be going to Panama the end of April for a week.
Congratulations. And what is all that about?
For me, it's an adventure. Every 2 years, I try to go to someplace different: China, Costa Rica, and now it's Panama. Out with Adam Fisk, and spend a week out there kayak fishing, look sailfish, big grouper, and my favorite is roosterfish. So that's what I'm targeting.
Okay, now I remember roosterfish. Are they poisonous?
No, not at all. No, that's like a clownfish. No, roosterfish aren't poisonous, and they're good eating. They're kind of in the jack family.
I can't picture it in my mind, but I just remember the name roosterfish. I'm probably thinking of the lionfish are somewhat poisonous. Not poisonous to
you're
eat.
thinking
but
lionfish.
Yeah.
But it's considerably bigger. Has a great bite to it, and it does have. It's called a roosterfish because it has kind of a crop along.
Now I
on its
remember.
back.
Yes. Yes, they are good eating. We had caught, if I'm not mistaken, that's what we caught down in the Keys one time. We caught a couple of big ones, and we cooked them outdoors as well. One of my favorite ways to have fish is to fillet it out and then cook it outdoors if you can. Some of the grills don't lend themselves well to that, but I have a special grate that you can put the fish on so it doesn't fall through as it cooks. I don't really like the idea of using aluminum foil. I've read a lot of things about aluminum leaching into the food, so I try to cook it without aluminum foil whenever possible.
There's a mat out there also that you can put over your grill.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I saw
the
that.
fish or the vegetables straight on the mat.
Again, my concern is what kind of a chemical is it that's on that mat that keeps everything from sticking to it? Is that really good? Is it leaching out because you're using it to cook? So is it leaching at that high temperature? Because barbecues get pretty hot. My barbecue gets pretty hot. I use a charcoal barbecue. I don't use a gasoline kind. So mine can get pretty doggone hot. And that would be my only concern. This little thing I got is stainless steel, which is, again, it's better than aluminum, but there's questions about it as well. But it's stainless steel, and what I do is I spray it with some spray oil, some olive oil, before I put the fish on it, before I put it on the barbecue, and that way the fish doesn't stick to the grill itself, and it just makes it real easy. And I'm amazed at how quickly we can cook. And when we're cooking things like grouper, I haven't had that in a while. Mahi, I had that a couple of weeks back. Things that, fish, they call them the chicken of the sea kind of fish. Oh my gosh. The only way really that I like to eat mackerel, because to me mackerel is very oily, I like to cook it on the barbecue. I like to kind of cook that really strong taste out of it. And I usually can accomplish that by sticking it on the barbecue and smoking it for a little while.
Yep, that's a great way. And then redfish is real easy. You can do the old redfish on a half shell, where you fillet it off the body of the fish, but you leave the scales on. And scales on a redfish are prehistoric. They're really tough. So you just put the meat side down for just a couple minutes just to give it some grill marks. Then you flip it back over and put it on and basically cook it on the skin side or the shell side with, and then just add a little butter and garlic to it, and it's delicious. So you leave the scales and the skin and everything on, and when the fish is done, it literally slides off of its skin and scales. It's delicious.
I'm ready to have fish for breakfast. Oh, that just sounds so good. I can't think of that man's name that was on with us who has all the different ways that things that you can put on the fish. That's what I'm thinking of this right now as you're describing that. Put some of that rub that he was talking about on it and put it out there on the fire. Oh my goodness gracious, that's wonderful. So you're going to, would you say Puerto Rico?
I've been to Costa Rica.
Oh, Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I've been to Puerto Rico, but not to fish. But I've been to Costa Rica, and we had 2 years ago, had a kayak tournament down there. So, no, I did not bring my kayak. I borrowed one from them, and I guess they didn't realize how tall I was. And I got, it was okay. God bless them. They gave me a kayak, so I didn't have to figure out how to ship one down there. But it was kind of small. It's the kind that you play around with in the pool.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was funny. I mean, I had to keep my legs. I really almost could not put my legs inside the kayak. And going through the surf is just hitting me in the chest. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wow. So they were kind enough to loan you a kayak, and you did some fishing. How did you do on the fishing?
I did really well. I got some jacks. I was after roosterfish. I hooked up on one and it got off right at the boat. I jigged, got some grouper, but I didn't get my roosterfish over there. Got a couple barracudas, but all in all, I had a good time.
Have you ever fished in the Keys?
Yes, when I was a kid. I have not gone down there as an adult to fish. And I was just talking to a friend of mine, and we're thinking about getting a trip down there and taking our boats with us. And now I fished in the Everglades. I've camped down there. I usually do that in January. Camp at Everglades National Park, and if I go to the primitive side, and you can bring your boat or your kayak right on the grass, right next to your tent, and get up in the morning, have your coffee, and step into your boat and take off right onto the flats. It's amazing, and I like camping there in January. First, we really don't have rain. Two, it's cold. It's cold, but it's cold enough that it keeps the mosquitoes off. So, once you get into 60-degree weather, the mosquitoes will start coming. 60, 70-degree weather, the mosquitoes will start coming back out.
What a wonderful thing we have here. But the reason why I was asking about that is I had a couple of times an unusual experience there in the Keys. That was unusual to me anyway. We were fishing in shallow water, maybe 40 feet, 30, 40 feet. Water is very clear down there. You can pretty much see the bottom at that point, but you can't see details on the bottom. So we were fishing in 30, 40 feet of water, catching, at that time we were catching snappers and yellowtails. Been fishing for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, caught 4 or 5 fish. Looked like it was going to be a good fishing day. And all of a sudden my dad hooks into something, and he's bringing it up. And my dad, God bless him, was very verbal. I can't get this you-know-what fish up. So we're finally got the fish up. It literally comes flying out of the water, and what comes flying out of the water is just a head. We had a huge barracuda. I tell you, they're smart. These fish, some of them are. It just amazes me. He figured out that if he stayed under the shade of the boat, underneath the boat where we wouldn't see him, not only would he be cool, not being heated up from the sun, but he could have a buffet just brought right to him. So we realized what was going on, so we moved. We ran probably 15, 20 minutes, so it would be at least a half a mile away. Put down again, started fishing. It was a little slow at first, started to pick back up. On about the 5th or 6th fish, same thing again. Fish comes up just ahead. This guy had followed us. This fish had literally followed our boat for however far we went, because when we got to the next place, I circled several times. These were a big barracuda. This one was at least 4 feet. So it wasn't, and the water's very clear. It wasn't going to be able to hide from us. So I circled the area for a while, maybe a minute or so, just making sure there's no big barracudas, no big sharks around. We just don't want to mess with that stuff. Didn't see any of that. Stopped, and we started to drift again, and son of a gun. So I'm telling you, don't be alarmed if you get one of these guys following you because they want some dinner, they want some lunch, they want some breakfast. It's all free. It's a buffet for them.
Yeah, we usually have, when we're kayaking offshore, I don't have as many problems with barracudas as I do with sharks, and we just call it the tax man. It's like, okay, one for the tax man.
Oh,
but if you chum, especially if you're snapper fishing, people tend to chum.
Yeah.
And that'll call them right in.
How deep of water are you in?
When I go offshore?
Yeah. Yeah, when you're offshore.
Anywhere between, I'll drop baits at about 60 feet out to about 500 feet. Tuna tend to be a little further out. Just depends the time of year, how warm the water is, where some of the weed lines are, that kind of stuff.
I have, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with me this morning. It keeps getting caught in my throat, whatever it is. I have chummed many times, but again, we're a little deeper. We're probably 80, 120 feet of water. Rarely did I run into, this is down in the Keys, rarely did I run into problems with sharks as much as I ran into barracuda. That's why I'm bringing the barracuda subject up, because it seemed to be that there were just numerous down there, and they were aware that it's almost like they know what a boat is. I'm telling you.
Well, when I got to fish grouper in Tampa Bay, okay, and I'm looking for gag grouper during season, I brought a couple up. 2 of them were just, slightly too small, so I threw them back. Brought the next one up, got it next to the side of the boat, and all of a sudden, flipper comes by, grabs it. I am flying in my kayak like I've never flown before in my life. And it finally got, rip the hook out of the grouper's mouth, because they know to grab it by the tail, and they'll just start taking off with it till it breaks off or the hook comes out, and then they'll eat the fish.
Did they leave you the head?
No, they'll keep going until that fish comes off your hook.
Wow.
They're the worst, and they're sitting there teaching their little kids how to do it too. So I'm going to say out there, as cute as they look, don't feed the wildlife. I don't care what wildlife it is, unless it's birds and you're putting bird seed out. Don't feed the wildlife. You're just teaching them to depend on you.
And they're actually making it more dangerous for them as well as yourself, because then they lose that bit of fear of the human aspect. And if they get sick or something and they decide to take it out on you, scratch you, bite you, whatever, you're going to suffer deeply for that. So neither one of them, neither the people nor the animal win, really, when you think about it in the long run. Yeah, it's got to stay away from.
And later on, if you start feeding them, sooner or later they're going to ingest hooks and stuff. Oh well. But anyhow, that's me being a mom.
Well, I mean, it's also being responsible too. We have a degree of responsibility to the other parts of life that are around us, and we should take advantage of that, not abuse it, right?
Yes, exactly. Well said.
I met this young lady a while back when I was doing AM radio here in West Palm Beach, and one of the songs that she did, I was actually thinking about using this song. She gave me permission to use this song for our show, but as you can tell, we had actually a band do the song for the show. Anyway, I want to play this for you, give you a couple of minutes of music while I do some resetting in the background. Don't go away. It is the Fish Florida Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
The way this state line looks in my rear view, this highway reminds me of you. This empty seat beside me keeps calling out your name, and the way the taillights keep on shining on that life I left behind me. Every mile, every sign is reminding me why I ain't turning around this time. If you miss me already, steal the keys to Daddy's car, baby, come and get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. me if you can. Catch me if you can. For you I drive a little slower, but there's no way I'm pulling over. 'Cause these wheels, they started rolling, and they ain't ever gonna stop. Gas it up, hit the road, got a long way to go, baby, burn the black top. If you miss me already, steal the keys to your daddy's car, baby, come and get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. So catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. Oh, I'm not trying to hide. I'm out here in the wide open. If you miss me already, baby, come and get me. If you miss me already, steal the keys to your daddy's car, baby, come and get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. Well, I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. So catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. If you can. If you can.
And that is Maggie Bow. She's a young lady. I think she's still in her teens. A very young lady, very talented young lady that I happened to have the pleasure of meeting a while back when I was doing AM radio here in West Palm Beach. Wanted to play that song for you because I really thought about using that song for our theme song, and really enjoyed the song. I enjoyed meeting her. She's a very pleasant young lady. It's amazing how some of our young people are so very talented and just need a little exposure. That's why I wanted to play that for you. I enjoyed that song very much. Anyway, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show with me, Pam Worth, one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. And on hold, I believe we have Mr. Ron Weintraub, or Captain Ron Weintraub, as we like to refer to him, with the Skeeter Beater. Good morning, Captain Ron.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. I'll give Pam an opportunity to say hi to you.
Hey, what part of Florida are you in, sir?
I'm not in Florida. I'm in the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Oh, that's right. I am so sorry.
The Skeeter Beater man.
You are the Crappie King.
Yep. No, he's the Skeeter Beater man. The crappie psychic will be on later. That's Captain Fultz. He's out of Louisiana. He'll be calling from Louisiana.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're having one of those mornings.
That's okay. We have an awful lot of kayakers up here, red drum fishing, trout fishing, and every one of them just rants and raves about our product because it keeps the bugs, the gnats, the flies, and you being a kayaker, you can't get away from those mosquitoes because you can't paddle that fast.
I think you're right.
But like I said, right now our website is under construction. We're changing everything. We're moving locations. We've actually quadrupled our sales, so we have to go to a bigger facility, which is good.
Well, congratulations! For us. Yeah, great.
So what happened? I was speaking with a representative from Hawaii, and it seems that the sunscreens that are on the market have two ingredients in it that's destroying the coral reef. But we have a sunscreen that's got 40 SPF and Skeeter Beater combined with it, and it works phenomenal, and it does not harm the coral reef. So if you know anybody that dives or whatever, this stuff is waterproof, practically waterproof, and you practically once you put it on, just in small increments, since it's got zinc oxide in it, but it performs to perfection. It keeps the bugs off, keeps your sun nice and even. I'm working. We partnered up with Todd at Roundabout Boats, and
Yeah, I remember Todd. Yeah, we've had Todd on a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, Todd's just promoting our product and helping us sell it, and he's selling it. And it looks like we've already started off. It looks like 2019 is going to be the best year we've ever had.
Well, congratulations, my friend. That's great. I wanted to ask you real quick about fishing. Well, actually, before I even ask you about the fishing, what is the weather like there right now?
Yesterday was 62. So for January up here in North Carolina, 62. That's warm to us.
Holy moly! And we're suffering from looks like a tropical depression directly over us. So today looks like, for us, it looks like a day up north where it's getting ready to snow. Except it's not that cold, but it's just miserable outside.
Yeah, the west and north of us, they're getting snow and ice, but we're just basically just got sunny weather and nice.
You got lucky.
Speaking of fishing, we had 2 bluefins this week come in. One of them was over 580 pounds.
Whoa!
And the other one, they broke off right at the boat, and they estimate that one between 750 and 850.
Holy moly! And do you know how far out they were? How deep a water were they in?
They're some of them are basically right outside of the inlet.
Holy my gosh!
We've actually seen the bluefins go across the shoals in as little as 5 feet of water.
Wow!
A 500 fish in 5 feet of water. I mean, they're just scurrying across there to catch a bluefish. But the funny thing is, when the bluefins, when it slows down for when we got dead bait, what we'll do is we'll take a light rod and we'll go down and try to jig a bluefish. Now, the secret is the whole secret behind that is if you can drag that bluefish fast enough to the surface before that bluefin gets a hold of it on that spinning tackle, that's the trick, isn't it, right there? Because once them bluefins get a hold of that spinning reel, it's gone.
I was going to say, I do not want to hook up into one on my kayak.
Pam, I'm thinking,
I think you might end up in England.
In my mind, I'm imagining you, Pam, hooking into one of these 500-pound, 700-pound fish and just going for a ride and just watching this thing.
That would be a major ride, and I'd end up cutting my line.
Yeah, I don't know that
now,
I'd
Pam,
want. Go ahead.
Pam, if you ever get a chance, what we've been doing in the past, we have actually taken some kayakers on our charter and actually dropped them off on a weed line where they were out there and they were catching dolphin on the weed line out of their kayaks, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
I've got dolphin out of the kayak before, but unfortunately in our tournaments and stuff here, you have to paddle your own kayak out to that weed line. I've had to go out 5-6 miles before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we've actually had quite a lot of celebrities and stuff come out here, fish out of Hatteras with us. And it's a great place. We'd love to have you up here sometime, both of you.
Well, thank you there, Captain Ron. I appreciate that.
That's very sweet. I probably will take you up on that. I have another question back on the sunscreen. I read an article last week, I think it was, that the Keys are voting to eliminate all sunscreens that, hurt the reef and stuff like that. So I don't know how that vote ended up.
As far as I could tell from the rep from Hawaii, they told me that our product is called Sunbeat. It's called Sunbeater, and it's got Skeeter Beater. Victoria Brinkley with Fish Florida, she was down there with me when I unveiled it down in West Palm Beach. In fact, it was right there on Riviera Beach at Bill Buckland's Fisherman's Center. And the sunscreen is just unbelievable. Now, as far as I know, there may be another one out there, but as far as I know, there is no sunscreen insect repellent combination that can be used around the coral reef except for ours. And like I said, our website is down, but if anybody wants to contact me about where they can get it, they can go and send me an email at CAPT_Ron, RONALRON, at AOL.com, and I will be more than glad to get some out to you so you could try. And do you want, I will send some down there while you're in your kayak. Try this, because Todd does a lot of snook fishing over. He lives over in Ruskin, Florida, which is near St. Petersburg. And he says
that's near me. I know Todd.
Okay, well, just, when next time you talk to Todd, ask him about the sunbeater. He said it's unbelievable. The no-see-ums, the mosquitoes, nothing. He said you put it on, get it. It's done.
You want to torture somebody. I could see.
Now the skeeter beetle we have, and we also make it for pets, and we also make this. Now you might just take a note on this too, Pam. A lot of times you get cut or scraped when you're doing your kayak or whatever. We have a product that's called Bite Burn Beater, and what it is like first aid in a bottle. You spray it on a cut or a scrape or whatever, and you get instant relief.
Oh, wow, nice.
So we have a lot of new products coming out this year. Like I said, this is going to be one of our best and busiest years, and we look forward to growing with Fish Florida and Roundabout Boats with Todd and the rest of our media partners, the Psychic Crappie. We hope that we're just trying to make this group grow, and I think that with shows like this, it's just helping get the word out to the public.
That's what it's about. Trying to promote. I've said many times that I try to promote small, locally owned businesses because that benefits everybody. It benefits the business owner, treats you like family because you are family to them. It's not like a big corporation. This week I had the pleasure of having to call my ISP, the people who provide our internet service for us, who happen to be here in South Florida, Comcast. I spent at least an hour on the phone with these people and got nowhere. Yeah, I did. I got somewhere. When I hung up the phone, I was ready to drink, and I'm not a drinking man. I was so frustrated and so angry because I really literally got nowhere with these people. They kept pushing me off to somebody else, to somebody else, to somebody else. So I finally got disconnected, have to call back, wait 20 minutes. It was just disgusting. So whenever possible, I am happy to promote small, locally owned businesses because I know how important the customers are to them. And I know how important it is to the customer to be treated like a customer. There was a time in this country when the common saying was the customer's always right. As long as he's your customer and he's paying you, the customer's always right. That hasn't been true in a long time. The customers are actually being abused at this point. So again, that's my little rant about locally owned businesses. It's just something I totally believe in.
I will say something about local owned business. The reason I like them because, like I said, they might be a small mom and pop store, but they've got your product in there on the counter, and people come in and they go, say it's Jim's Tackle Shop, and they said, Jim, what do you think about this product here? He said, I love Skeeter Beater. He says, I use it all the time. 9 times out of 10, that guy's going to buy a bottle because
word of mouth. Yep. That's one of the most powerful ways is word of mouth. Yep.
Exactly. Our grandkids use it, and hopefully the next time that I talk to you, we'll be in our new facility and we'll have our new website up and running.
Well, congratulations. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm always happy to hear about smaller companies growing because I know as they grow, they continue to service the customers. We just don't have that
provide
kind
of more jobs, out there.
That's right.
And that just helps the community. And like I said, we live on an island. So the Outer Banks is, basically after Labor Day, it slows down a lot. So a lot of people are on unemployment. So my wife and I are working very hard to provide year-round jobs for a lot of people here.
Well, God bless you, and I hope that you continue to be successful in that because it sounds like you are successful, and I hope you continue to be successful in that. This is why I promote small businesses. Everybody wins.
Yeah, when you own a business, I mean, it's 24/7.
True. Yep.
It's always something. You got a piece of machinery that goes down or whatever, but as long as you just hang in there and keep working at it, your business will be successful. And we try to treat everybody, somebody says, well, my bottle leaked or something, it could have not gotten tightened or whatever. We gladly replace everything. We treat all our customers, said, yes, ma'am, or no. And, we're a family company. I mean, we hire.
That's why I promote people like you, because you are a family-owned, locally-owned company. And whether people realize it or not, I've said many times, what I like to promote is where everybody wins. Here's how we win with a small, locally-owned company. When you spend money with that company, about a little over 60 cents of every dollar that you invest with that company stays in the local area. So it helps the local area. And if it's an area like, Captain Ron is describing, where there's people are unemployed, it helps the local area through taxes and a variety of other things. 60 plus cents of every dollar stays there. When you spend it with one of these large corporations, these global corporations, it's just about 40 cents, or maybe just a little over 41 cents. So there's a big difference there. And the big difference is to benefit everybody that is utilizing that business in that area. The more that we can do this, the greater it is for everybody. Everybody benefits with this thing. And that's why I like to do it. So, yeah, I'm right with you right there, Captain Ron.
Well, let me tell you two things that's going to go on, and they can keep up with us once our website's back up. Unfortunately, my wife got diagnosed with breast cancer, and luckily they caught it early. So starting this year, we are going to have a pink bottle with a pink label for Skeeter Beater, and part of the proceeds is going to go to the Breast Cancer Association. And also we're going to do a camo bottle, and we're going to take part of the proceeds of that money and put it to the Disabled American Veterans Association.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate
That's awesome.
that. Yeah, I greatly appreciate
and we're going to do that. And we're working on a thing, Sergeant Frank on Adopt a Cop USA, and we're going to try to do Adopt a Cop label too for the children's fishing tournaments.
Oh, great! You're pulling on all my heartstrings this morning. But I'm running out of time rapidly, Captain Ron. So before I ask you to leave, before you go, give us your parting thoughts. How do people reach you? And then we're going to go to a break. Go ahead.
Okay, like I said, my website's down right now for refurbish, but they can reach me at CAPT_Ron@AOL.com, and my number is 252-475-0244. I'd be glad to answer any questions or anything about our product or company. You're more than welcome to call me or email me.
Well, thank you, Captain Ron. Miss Pam, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thanks again. Your product is amazing, and I'm glad that more people are being conscious of the environment. And look forward to fishing with you, young man.
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
I've only been fishing for 55 years. I know how to tie a knot at least.
All right. Well, please don't go away. We will be right back.
Is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise!
Surprise! Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, If you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun. I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Shark fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a very good morning to you out there, and thank you for joining in with us. It is one of those mornings when I don't think much of us are going to be outdoors. We're liquid sunshine. I go back to the be politically correct, liquid sunshine all over the southern portion of the state today. And I am honored and privileged to have Pam Worth with me this morning. Pam is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. She brings a unique perspective to the table because she's literally at the water's edge. Good morning to you, Miss Pam.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me on. I always enjoy it.
I enjoy it as well. I'm always learning doing this show. One of the things I so much enjoy is I'm always learning. I don't pretend to know everything. And one of the things I learned about is I always, in my ignorance, I always thought kite fishing was kind of silly. Then I met up with a gentleman by the name of Mike Simcoe, who taught me kite fishing is anything but silly. It is quite serious. And not only that, but it can exponentially add your ability to be out there and catch fish. Good morning, Mike, and thank you for calling in, my friend.
Good morning, Riscala. Good morning, Pam. How are you guys?
Good morning, sir. Hey, listen, thank you for that diagram. I'm going to get a rod holder. I have one of my guys finagle a rod holder to fit that, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to kite fish. Could be a lot of laughs.
That'd be great. Well, it'll be laughs, but it'll be fun, too, so I'm glad you liked it. Thanks.
So, Mike, you told me that you were out of town. Where were you?
I'm in San Francisco. We're getting ready to fly out this morning, but I've been here for half a week. We do this. We do the annual NADA convention, which is Other Dealers Association, which is really the business that pays for the diesel fuel in my boat. So I'm very appreciative that I have a job that allows me to fish too. So that's what we're doing.
Oh, well, safe travels, my friend. And I thank you for calling in this morning. When you get back here, I don't know if you've seen what it's like here. It's not very pleasant here today with regard to the weather being outside as far as being welcoming to any outdoor activity. But when you get back, are you planning on doing some fishing? Because I know this is sailfish season, and that's one of your favorites, I believe, right?
Oh, you got that right, Riscala. I have been checking every day. Of course, that's part of my routine is to check the weather, even when I'm out of town, and check with my friends that are out there fishing. There was a tournament this weekend. It finished yesterday. And of course, when the weather gets a little snotty, as it has this week, it got cold and windy, and the sailfish were on the move. There was a big pile of them up in the Cocoa Beach area on the East Coast for the last 3-4 weeks. And then when I say a lot, I mean there was a tournament 2 weeks ago that literally caught 700 fish, 30 boats in 2 days, and some of the boats literally caught and released 40 up to 42 fish per day.
Wow.
That's what a pile of sailfish looks like on the East Coast. So that body of fish started moving south a little bit, and the Buccaneer tournament finished up. They had the top boat, I think, had 21 fish, debatable, and the second place boat had 20 fish in 2 days, which is great. Yeah, so I mean, I can't wait to get home.
A lot of fish. 700. 700? Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Wow. So and I take it is all catch and release, right?
Yeah, that was implemented many decades ago, where, and particularly I want to say since 2000, when circle hooks became a mandate for tournament fishing for sailfish and billfish. So now, if it's done right, you hook these fish in the corner of the mouth. It minimizes their stress. It minimizes their damage. They're not gut hooked. They're not hooked in the gills for the most part. And it's great because the populations of these billfish have been growing. And you see the results with all these fish released in the tournaments.
You know what this reminds me of, Pam? Remember when we had I think you were on the show with me that day. We had the two young men from the West Coast on, and they were scuba diving, and they were telling us about how the snapper population has come back through the conservation.
Yep, and the Goliath groupers.
Oh yeah, and the Goliath groupers, right?
Yeah, I wish those sails though had moved further south 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I missed them too, Pam. Believe me, I was fishing a tournament right before you started yours, that Extreme Kayak tournament, and you were a little south of me, but even in Jupiter, the Jupiter area, that big body of fish hadn't gotten down there at all. So we had fairly poor sailfish conditions.
Yeah, we had. I mean, the conditions were great. I mean, the water. The first thing that I noticed when I touched the water, I looked at my buddy who I was fishing with, and I go, "This water's warm. It's a little warmer than the sailfish weather I'm used to. The water is usually cold to the touch. It was warm."
Yeah, I guess you're there.
And now that drives them out, I take it, right? Out to deeper water where it's cooler, I would imagine.
Well, not to change the subject, but I got to tell you guys, the sailfish isn't the only thing happening. Last week we fished Saturday. The conditions kind of really slicked off and got nice, and so we went out early Saturday morning and started to troll. One of your guests that you have on quite often, Pete from J-Cam Lures.
Yeah, Peter. Yeah.
I love Pete's lures. We've been using those for years, and we had just in a couple hours in the morning we troll from, let's say, 5:30 a.m. until 7:30 a.m. and if we get a wahoo, great. Well, we had two that morning. Turned around and went offshore to swordfish because when the conditions are right, it's nice to get out 15-20 miles. Had 4 sword bites, boated 1. Released 2. We that was all in a 4-hour period, when we went sword fishing, and so that's when this is the time of year when everything, if the conditions are right, turn on. So I've been loving this time of year.
So
That's amazing.
Go ahead, Pam.
I was going to say, great job.
Amazing.
That's the one thing. If people are listening and they want to learn something, go research a little bit. Go look for a talented captain. Ask them a few questions. The best way to learn something is to go out with somebody who actually knows it. It'll cut your learning curve by probably 15 or 20 trips. Well worth the money.
Absolutely.
And if you can't, and we always say, if you don't wear the line, you can't catch a fish. So you got to get out there and try it.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I have not hooked into a swordfish, but that's still on my bucket list.
That's what I was
I
going
can
to.
tell you this: if you go out there and catch a sword on a kayak, I'm going to have to kneel down to you. I don't know. I don't know if I would ever try that.
There are people in kayaks that have caught these Goliath groupers. It's amazing to me how they don't roll over, but they brought them up.
That's amazing.
It is. There's video. You can watch videos online. It truly is. When you see the size of the fish come up and they're in this little skinny thing, I don't know how they don't roll over from the power of that fish. The fish is just about the size of the boat. So it's amazing. It really is. And people like Pam, she can pull up a sailfish. It's about 3/4 the size of her kayak, and big smile on her face as she's holding it for the guy taking the picture. I still have that up on the Facebook page. You want to see something that is really impressive. There's something that is impressive.
Well, like I said, I'm looking to have a lot of fun down in Panama, where we're going to be going for big roosterfish, big grouper. They've hooked into a couple marlin down there, so I'm looking for a good time. If you go look at, I think it's Adam Fisk, Fisk, on Instagram, you can see some of the big fish that have been pulled in by kayakers.
And what are we talking about? What kind of fish?
Oh, like I said, marlin, grouper, roosterfish, big roosterfish. So I'm looking forward to that trip.
Well, I'll tell you what. We, as I said, I'm always learning doing the show, and it's something that, of course, I enjoy doing the show. But what I enjoy even more is learning about all this stuff. And one of the people who had taken time out to teach me basically on the show is Mike. Mike is somebody who is very familiar, if not an expert at kite fishing. I always, in my ignorance, I thought kite fishing was kind of silly, and then he told me about the ways that he uses the kites and how he can actually maneuver them. I never thought about having multiple kites out there. I never thought about having multiple lines on the kites. It never occurred to me. I was ignorant. But that's what I appreciate about people like Mike. Mike takes the time to call in and share with us techniques, information, things that, it's not readily available out there that unless you know somebody specifically. But Mike, how many years have you been doing with the kites? Have you fishing with the kites? How long is that?
Well, I mean, it's been, I graduated from University of Florida in '85 and moved to South Florida where I saw my first kite, an old Bob Lewis model, which was really that was 1985. So we're talking over 30 years.
So he's got just he's been into rodeo just a couple of times here. So he's got a little bit of experience. So this is somebody that is open to sharing his knowledge with you. So this is why I enjoy having people like him on. It's always interesting. For me, it's always learning. I know some people out there go, it's silly, I already knew that. Just understand there are those of us who love to fish. We don't know everything. And I am one who will not pretend. I don't know everything. And I enjoy when people come on and share with us how I learned about circle hooks. I know that sounds silly to some of you people, but I learned about circle hooks and the purpose of circle hooks. I didn't know that before I did this show. I'd seen them out in the when we went hardware shopping, but I really didn't understand what they were and how the proper way to use them, all that. So again, for me, it's always a learning process. I'm hoping for some of you out there that are listening, it's a learning process, not only about silly things to some of you like circle hooks, but techniques that people use. And one of the things that I like about Mike is that here he is getting ready to travel, but he takes the time to call in and share with us his knowledge. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate that, my friend.
And it's 6:00 in the morning for him.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a little late. That would be a late start going fishing, as you guys know. So that's no problem. It's no problem at all.
So, Mike, now you're expected to come back today. I'm sure that it's not going to be a very welcoming day. Have you got anything planned for this coming week?
Well, I mean, it's funny. So we work hard when we're out here at the convention, and I'm hoping that translates to maybe a day off tomorrow. If I can get some of my administration done here on the plane, that would free me up tomorrow. And I think, given the results of that tournament I was discussing, I'd love to go out there tomorrow and catch some sailfish.
Now, what do you do? I think I've asked you this before, and I regret if I have. I have Halfheimers. I only remember half the stuff. I only forget half the stuff. But what do you do on days like where there's a lot of wind and can you control the kite with a lot of wind that is blowing the kite? Do you have, I know we've gone through this, so I apologize, but for anybody who's just tuning in who may not know, like me, you have different kinds of kites that you can fly, correct? For days that are no wind, days that are wind.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. And, to simplify this a little bit, think about the material that material the kite is made of is literally permeable. I mean, I want to say 90% of the kites manufactured have permeable material that the wind passes through. So the less permeable it is, the lighter the wind. This sounds a little counterintuitive, but it grabs more wind when it won't let that much wind pass through it. Now, when it gets really blustery and the wind is howling 20 knots plus, you have to assist that by we have what's called 40-hole kites or 5-hole kites. There's holes that are intentionally put in the material to allow more wind to pass through it, and that leaves just enough material to grab enough wind to fly the kite. So that's what happens. I mean, you really open up that material to allow more wind to pass as it's blowing hard. So you'll see us we don't worry about it. 30-knot winds, 12-foot seas. If the fish are biting, we just grab a 40-hole kite, allows a lot of wind to pass through, and we control it really well.
12-foot seas, I would be chumming the water.
I don't know. That too.
I think the roughest I've ever been in is about 6 to 9 foot swells, and I got to tell you, I'd never ever been seasick until that time, and I had been out on the water many years, never even thought about being seasick. But I was on this party boat, I think is what they call them, or head boat, where a bunch of us paid to get on this boat, big boat, and we were out, and it got rougher and rougher as we were out there. I wasn't thinking anything about it, but about an hour into it, oh my goodness, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I couldn't stop. It was not a good experience for me. So I had sympathized with those who can't take it, and I am very impressed with somebody like you who's going to be out there in 12 foot. My goodness. God bless you, my friend.
Well, we're just kind of that obsession, If you got to catch the fish, you go out there when they're biting.
hardened fisher people.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
I just wanted to add one thing, if
Sure,
I could.
Sure.
So this year, I've been, part of my program is that we try a lot of equipment. We try out different equipment for manufacturers, and if we don't have something good to say, we basically don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I've tried a new kite manufacturer. His name is Pearl Kites, and it has been a pleasure this season to fly those. This guy's an engineer, more or less by trade, and so he's a scientist that kind of has lightened the materials, strengthened the materials that he puts into his kites. And I just wanted to put that little plug in there because I know he's starting to produce them, and it's been a really wonderful product for us. We can fly them lower; they're easier to tune, generally speaking. So tuning means that how low can you fly the kite? Because the lower it is to the water, to a degree, it allows for less drop back when the clip releases and that fish is running with your bait. Mm-hmm. And the less drop back, you're closer to the fish, and that allows for a more higher hookup ratio. So we are always looking to fly the kites lower, and these are just very easy to tune. And I'm still working with them, and I'm still trying to get all my reporting done on those kites. But I'm really pleased with it. So I don't usually endorse products, but I just wanted to say some positives about these kites that I've been trying.
That's pearl, like what's inside of an oyster or a clam? Pearl, Pearl.
Yeah, that's the name. When you look it up, it's Pearl Kites, Pearl, Pearl Kites.
Okay.
And so I've been pleased. That's been my experience with them.
Now, do you know him personally?
I do. I met him through a friend, another fishing friend that kind of a year ago started saying, you got to try these. Well, like every fisherman, I like what I like, and I've been really happy. I only own 50 or 60 kites personally. So the last thing I needed was to try another kite. I've got enough to spend the rest of my life flying.
Start an army.
But I did meet him, and of course somebody that flies as much as I do flies these kites. I had some thoughts and suggestions, as everybody does, and he actually went back to the he went back to his shop and implemented some of them. And I didn't believe he could lighten up, for example, a centerpiece the way he did and strengthen it up. So he uses aircraft grade aluminum, and you would think that would be heavier than some polymers that the guys use, but it actually ended up being lighter, stronger, and stronger with a kite means a lot, because when you're flying, we were talking about that heavy wind conditions. When you're pulling on the materials and the spars with those heavy winds, there's going to be some breakage. It could be the spars that break, centerpieces, material tears. Then sometimes they go in the water. When a kite goes in the water, you can add even more stress trying to get that thing out, trying to bring it back to the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So all those pressures make a difference, particularly with an expensive piece of equipment like a kite. And I've been pleased with the way that he goes back and really tries to make those changes.
Well, if you can contact him, it'd be an honor to have him on. He can explain some of the stuff that he's done.
I'd be glad to. Yeah,
I think it'd be
fun for you to talk to.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Again, you said some stuff tonight, tonight. Lord have mercy. It feels like night out here. You said some stuff this morning that I wasn't aware of, that the kites have almost like I knew they had breathable material, but almost like vents, it sounds like they're almost like they're vented. So a kite that is designed for high wind has more of these, quote, vents. So I have lack of a better description, where a kite that is designed for light wind would have less of these vents, less of this permeability, if you will. So again, I'm always learning. Thank you, Mike. I greatly appreciate it. I'm up against a break, my friend. Safe travels. God bless you, and looking forward to having you back on again.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself.
What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying, that's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation.
Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478. Diane Whittick at Bowen Realty, located in Wellington at Wellington Trace East and Forest Hill Boulevard. 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclubb.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing it on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Fishing it on.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right. Well, it is kind of a gloomy morning here in South Florida if you're just joining us. And if you're here in South Florida, of course, I don't need to tell you what's going on out there because it's not just happening on the East Coast. It's happening on the West Coast, primarily all of the southern portion of South Florida from what I could see on the radar. Not a very welcoming day for outdoor activity. So an honor and a privilege to have you listening in with us. An honor and privilege always to have people like Pam Worth who take the time to call in and share with me. Good morning, Miss Pam. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, it's pretty dreary over here. I've just looked out the windows. Still raining, still cloudy, winds blowing.
Yeah. Well, let's just kind of enjoy the inside. And I asked Miss Victoria to call in. Victoria Brinkley. She is with the Brinkley Broadcast Group. She is the founder of the Fish Florida app, and through the Fish Florida app is how the Fish Florida Show came to be. So good morning, Miss Victoria, and thank you for calling in, my dear.
Oh, good morning, guys, on this very rainy day here in Florida.
And how are we doing? I know it's miserable where you're at because you're not very far from me as well.
It's pouring cats and dogs all weekend long here.
Oh, my. Well,
Yeah.
Have you
I
noticed?
actually have Dennis here, and Dennis had some opinions on what's been going on with the conservation efforts here in Florida.
Mhm.
And I asked him if he wouldn't mind saying a few things. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah. Let's bring Dennis on. Good morning, Dennis.
Okay. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning.
So what do you want to share with us, my friend? Always good to have you on.
Why, thanks for having me. I just want to say that it looks like we're having some positive changes in our government for our water systems in Florida now.
Oh,
with the
yes.
elections and everything else.
Oh, yes.
I have to say that the new governor is making some bold changes and some waves to break up the old system.
Yep.
And so hopefully that our water system will improve eventually. At least we have two people fighting for the people who have water dear to their hearts and just common sense.
That's quite true. Governor DeSantis, he's the recently elected governor here in Florida. I had dedicated an entire show to this subject because I just felt it was so important. We have water on three sides of the state. And it wasn't intended to be a political thing. It was intended to be an informational thing, which I believe it was. We have water on three sides of this state, and at that time we had just almost absolute destruction of 140 miles of our west coast, where it was just everything was dying. Not only fish were dying, mammals that lived in the water were dying. Something was in the water that was above the normal state. It was just killing everything. And of course, the wildlife that lived on the fisheries, they were dying. So whatever was eating these fish that were dying, they were dying. It was a very horrible thing to see, and it seemed as though nobody really anybody who was in authority, nobody really was going to change what was going on. And the first thing that, one of the first things, within the first week that this man was a governor, he asked for the resignation of the people who are basically responsible for the drainage of Lake Okeechobee here in Florida, and which we believe, those of us who looked into this, we believe that it is an exaggeration. It helps this red tide that comes in. It's like a steroid for these red tides, and it just exaggerates, I can't think of the word, exasperates. I don't know if I'm pronouncing
Exaggerates.
it. Yeah. It just makes it worse, and these people knew that, and then but they just continue to do it day in and day out. So yeah, this was a bold move on his part. I'm very, very impressed that he is willing to literally shake the boat up. So I do thank him for that. I doubt he's listening, but thank him for that.
And also Representative Mass has got involved. He's went down to water district meetings, Congressman, and he's, put some requests in and just was ignored.
Yeah.
I think there's a very positive step for Florida, and all listeners still need to write their representatives up in Washington and congressmen to support this.
Absolutely. And, this is, people say we're being political. To me, this is not being political. This is our environment. This is where we live. And for people like me, like Dennis, like the hosts, the guests that have been on earlier, we love to fish. We love the water. It's just being responsible. This really is what it is. I don't want it to be a political thing. It's just a matter of being responsible. It doesn't have to be political. But it is the reality of what we live in. 140 miles on the West Coast, and there is a degree of damage that is happening on the East Coast. I don't believe it's being reported. I'm sorry?
And to the businesses. And to the business owners that worked really hard to make their businesses along the coast so everybody could come and enjoy the tourism, the people that come and want to visit Florida and stuff.
Yeah.
We've heard so many terrible stories about them going to these hotels and restaurants and resorts, and they just had dead fish everywhere.
Not only dead fish, but you can't breathe it. A lot of these people they're irritated. Their lungs are irritated by whatever it is that is in the water. Again,
your liver, if you're in that water for 6 seconds, it could damage your liver completely.
That's just irresponsible, and there's no place in that. And I'm glad to see that this new man has stepped up to the plate, if you will. And he not only dealt with the water, but he dealt with a couple of other subjects. Those would be political, and I won't get into that. But yes, I'm very impressed with this man, and I'm grateful. I'm hoping that he continues on this track of pointing out people who have been lackadaisical, irresponsible, getting them out, putting people in that are responsible. We deserve better. We really do. We deserve better than the way that we have been treated here in South Florida with regard to the water. And they blame everybody but the real culprit. And so hopefully we will continue down that track. Thank you for sharing that, Dennis. I appreciate it.
Well, there's a lot of culprits out there.
I agree. But a lot of times the finger's not pointed at the right ones. It's pointed in the other way.
And the everyday homeowner that lives anywhere near the water, who has any drain situation draining from their yard into a sewer system that leads to a water, all those people are equally responsible. When you turn around, and I know there's nothing more beautiful than a lush green yard, but all those fertilizers, all that nitrate, guess where that goes?
Yep. Yeah, and ultimately, they knew about this. The people who do the developing and the people who approve of all, they knew about this many years ago, but for whatever reason, they have permitted it, and it's time to stop. It's time to stop and be more responsible about our environment, not just here in Florida. Generally around the world, we just see an irresponsibility going on, all based upon, it's sad to say, but it's all based upon money, and that's really hurts everybody. It works the opposite of my passion. Everybody gets hurt. The environment gets hurt. If the environment that we live in gets hurt, guess who else is going to get hurt? In my opinion, everybody gets hurt. Nobody wins. That's not the kind of thing what we want.
And the flow of the water has to be restored to the Everglades. And once that's restored to the Everglades, a lot of natural filtering will come out of any any toxins and stuff that's for lawn use. But you're just pumping raw sewage into the ocean.
Yeah, That's basically what we're doing. Yes, and
And
you can.
the Everglade Trust, the water really needs to be restored as close to its natural flow. And I've driven from Okeechobee down through Miami through, Route 27, and there's nothing out there except sugar.
Well,
There's no
again,
fountains,
it's a
and
multi.
The water really needs to flow south.
It's a multifaceted.
So hopefully it'll take us 20 years, but maybe we could restore that.
Honestly, I think if we put our efforts into it, it wouldn't take that long at all. Pam and I were talking earlier about the conservation that was happening on the West Coast regarding the red snappers, and the conservation on around the state about the Goliath groupers, how they've just come back in massive numbers. The sailfish, how they've come back. I think if we really focused on the conservation, it wouldn't take that long. We would be able to, the earth can clean itself if we would just stop polluting it. If we allow it like you said, with the Everglades, if we allow it to the proper way for it to go, it filters through the Everglades. The Everglades, the living waters, as they call them, down there, flow down into the south portion of the state, and then they go out into the bay naturally. By the time they hit the bay, they are fairly clean, and the bay is accepting of it, and it doesn't create a polluted environment so badly that fish are dying and wildlife is dying. These are some of the things that I'd like to see us go back to. When I was a child growing up in South Florida, we had saltwater canals. My goodness, we could go fishing in the saltwater canals and catch just about anything you wanted. Anything that was out basically in the bay, all the way to sharks and barracudas were in those saltwater canals. There's none of that going on now. I don't know. It's just horrible. It's very, very sad to see how irresponsible we have been. And we've taken a big turn. This is a big turn that this man has taken in trying to resolve that. So I commend him for that.
The engineering of the past, and say 20 years ago, now people just have to be responsible and say, well, that's not good engineering for the environment, so we need to change it.
Right.
The Great Lakes went through it and everything else, and so sometimes you just have to step up and say, this is not right anymore.
Yeah, and that's what so far that's what I've seen with this guy, and I greatly appreciate that. Have you done any fishing this last week or two?
No, unfortunately, I have not.
So I know that you guys are right there on the water too. So it's pretty miserable out there where you're at as well.
Yeah, the wind's been blowing, and work and life gets in the way sometime of fishing time.
Well, I do appreciate.
But I heard there's still dolphin out there when the wind's blowing, and occasional sailfish, and the wahoo are still sparse.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that dolphins are still here in the area. I don't know why, but I just happen to remember as it got cooler, they would seem to go away, and as the seasons began to change, is when it would start to come back. So I'm really surprised to hear about it. Is that so common?
Well, they're sparse. I mean, you can they're very sparse, but they're still here.
Wow. All right, my friend. Well, thank you. God bless you. Wonderful. I wish you a wonderful day. I appreciate you calling in. I'll let Miss Pam say goodbye to you, and we'll go to break. Go ahead, Miss Pam.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate the update and everything you're doing. Great job. And Victoria, you as well.
I love you guys too. I love the show so much, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen this year in 2018.
Well, thank you, Miss Victoria. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rick Keller. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. Call me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much for taking time to allow us to share with you on this wonderful day that we're enjoying what I call liquid sunshine out here in the southern part of Florida. I don't think there's anywhere in the southern part of Florida you're going to be able to go today and not be affected by what I refer to as liquid sunshine, and commonly known as rain. Not a welcoming day for outdoor activity per se. With me this morning, I have Pam Ward. She is one of the top female kayak anglers. Always an honor and a privilege to have her on with me. Good morning, Miss Pam, and welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on, especially on this cold, rainy day where I'm sitting in just fiddling with my tackle anyway.
Yeah, she's gonna do what she says. She's a performer. She not only just says it, she actually does it, and she's going to be maintaining and taking care of the tackle today. So when the next time that she gets out there, she'll be ready to go. And I believe I have Captain Clyde on with me now from Louisiana. Captain Clyde, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning to both you guys.
Good morning, sir.
And
Are you
I'm
out on
sorry.
the water?
I'm not.
I was going to say, are you stuck with bad weather like we are down here?
Oh no! Actually, the weather is gorgeous here. It's too pretty. It's actually too pretty for fishing. We got high pressure, clear blue sky. Not good for crappie. Not good for crappie fishing.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just excited to be on the show as always, and looking forward to answering some of you guys' questions. And I keep saying you guys, and I hope that doesn't offend you, Pam.
Not at all. I've been one of the guys for a long time.
She outdoes the guys. What are you talking about?
I have a question. What kind of setup do you use? Meaning, what kind of reel and what kind of rod? How long is it? Is it a light rod, a heavy? What's the best equipment that you've found for crappie fishing?
That's a great question, because down here where I'm located, I'm a very different type of crappie fisherman than throughout the country. So I use a 6-foot, one-piece, light to medium spinning rod, and I used to use a Shimano reel for the last 25 years, but I just was given another reel to try, and I absolutely love it. So I use a Penn Battle 2000 spinning reel, and absolutely have fell in love with this little reel. So and I'm a regular mono guy. I don't use braid. I like Berkeley Trilene XL, and which is a lot of the information I cover in my seminars. And if you guys don't mind, I'd really like to say I got invited by Crappie University this year to kind of teach, and I will be at University of Louisiana Lafayette on February 23rd teaching about crappie fishing.
So awesome!
That's kind of a big thing for our little company and for me personally. So that's something I enjoy doing. But
I
that's
remember
some great questions, Pam.
I remember you mentioning that some time back, but I don't think it had quite come to pass yet. It hadn't been solidified, if you will. And so congratulations. That is awesome. It really is.
Yes, huge blessing for us, and I'm looking forward to it. I love teaching about all the information that I use for crappie fishing, because it's different. I bring forward a lot of information that most crappie fishermen don't get because of where I fish and all the years of experience I have fishing in deep South Louisiana.
That's great. That's very interesting. And congratulations. It's you're very unique in what you offer. Now, speaking of that, you offer trips too, don't you? And I know your wife is almost considered a gourmet chef.
Yes, she is a Cajun chef, and we've been featured on over a dozen television shows where we kind of do. It's called a hook and cook it. I go out, I bring the guys out, and we go catch the fish, and then we come back, and my wife cooks up things for the show. And she is an outstanding chef, and we really enjoy what we do. So I do not only crappie fishing charters, but I do catfishing charters in September, October, and November. Only those 3 months, because that is the best 3 months to fish the catfish in my area.
See, that's something else. I didn't know that you did that. I thought that's why they called it a crappie psychic, because it was all about crappie. I didn't know you did catfish as well. How big are the catfish that you catch?
We actually target the smaller fish, smaller blue cats, and when they're immature, we call them white cats because they haven't gotten their color yet, that deep blue, dark gray looking color. So they're mostly all white and a light gray. So we call them white cat because they're immature blue cat. And as far as I'm concerned, they're one of, if not the best tasting catfish there is.
Wow.
So the reason, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have cats here that I catch, but they're always a byproduct for me. The big sail cats.
Oh yeah,
with the
yeah. I would.
prongy spikes that love to get into your hand.
Oh yeah, I throw those back.
I never.
But Pam, I would like to say something to Pam, if that's okay.
Absolutely, go ahead.
I would love. I mean, we've spoke a few times now, and I would love to get some of my products in your hands so you can try them out when you're out there with your kayak doing what you do. I think you would really be impressed with our little simple invention.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll ring you after the show and we can set something up. How's that?
That'd be great. I'd love to send you some things out there, things that I know you would use and things that I know would surprise you.
I'm all about surprises.
As long as they're good. As long as they're good surprises. Well, I got some of his trailers, and I did it primarily because I was lazy, if you want to know the truth. And because I would take my grandkids fishing here in little lakes and the canals that we have. They're all brackish water. I was fishing with live worms, and it gets messy, honestly. It gets messy. So I put these trailers on without anything, and I was shocked at how well they worked. And, of course, they were quite happy, too. So a testimonial, some of the trailers he has, they work. I haven't used them all, but the ones that I have used have given me really very satisfactory. Very, very happy with them.
Well, I appreciate that. We get that kind of feedback throughout the country, and we're also on the move a lot now. We're getting ready to go to the Columbus Fishing Expo in Ohio, and then we're going to follow that up with going to the Indianapolis Boat Sport and Travel Show right after that. So we're getting ready to go on a 21-day stretch in February.
Oh my goodness!
Well, congratulations! I'm very, very happy to hear that, and it's always exciting when you've watched a smaller company gradually grow and now getting to the point where it's becoming an exponential thing. And the thing that I enjoy about Captain Clyde is I know that he is a family man and he has high family values, and he will treat you like family. If you buy from him, you're going to be part of the family. So always an honor and privilege to have you on, my friend, and great to hear the feedback. You said it was too pretty to go fishing today. You're actually telling me that the weather would affect a fish so much that if you went fishing today, you wouldn't catch anything?
Definitely so. That's one of the subjects I cover in my seminars and in my teaching, especially when it comes to crappie fishing. Now, saltwater, not as much. I do hear from my saltwater captains that it does have a similar effect, but not as big as it does on freshwater, especially crappie. The number one weather condition that you're looking for crappie fishing is barometric pressure. Wow. So when there's a cold front or any type of front coming with a low pressure system is approaching the state, and you can see it on the weather, you see that big L sweeping through the state. Well, ahead of that L, your barometric pressure is dropping. You have a falling barometric pressure. That is the best time to go crappie fishing. And one of the telltale signs, and I tell my customers this and the people who attend my seminars, if you don't have Siri to ask what the barometric pressure is doing, all you got to do is look at the cows. If the cows are up walking around feeding, every one of them eating, the barometric pressure is most of the time falling. So that's a very good indication. My kids and my wife, they always, when we're on the road together and I look out in the pasture and they see it and they see my face, they're like, "Yeah, Dad, we know it would be a good time to go crappie fishing." So you can do that. And the absolute worst time is after that front passes and you got that big old H right over you, that high pressure. Now, it's beautiful. That's when you get the clear blue sky and the wind will tend to die down, a couple of days after the front. And it's beautiful weather. It's gorgeous. But when you have that high pressure, it shuts the crappie feeding down totally.
And I think, excuse me, Pam. I was going to say, I think, Pam, did you tell me that we suffer the same thing in saltwater, but maybe not as bad?
Absolutely. It'll come close to shutting down redfish, snook, trout, not as much, but it definitely shuts the bite down. One of the captains said, it's the most beautiful day to go fishing. bluebird skies, next to no wind, and next to no fish. You have to wait a couple days. Let them kind of get used to the pressure change again. Is that right, sir?
That is correct. That falling barometric pressure just causes them to bite. I just think that's the way they're made. They know maybe something's coming, and of course, when you're out in the wild, because it affects deer the same way for deer hunters. The deer will get up and they will start feeding. It's like they're preparing for something. It's like this low pressure it's got their attention, and so it's a great time to crappie fish, and it's also a great time to go deer hunting.
That's something again, I'm always learning. So I'm learning like bunches this morning. This is great.
Well, if you get a chance, come to ULL on February 23rd. I got 2.5 hours to spend with everybody, so I'm going to be teaching a whole lot about crappie fishing.
Wow.
Oh, that sounds like a fun.
Why didn't they have that kind of stuff when I was in school?
I'm sorry, what was that, Ms. Collins?
I was just making a remark. Why didn't they have that kind of subject when I was in school? Go ahead, Pam.
No, that's great. I'm going to see if I can get that on my calendar and come visit you. We just, Florida or Tampa Bay area just had something very similar to what you celebrate in Louisiana. We just had Gasparilla, where we have a pirate come in and invade the city. And it's our mini version of Mardi Gras.
Right. I did hear about that from some guys out in Florida. And they have their own TV show there that I was hopefully going to be a guest on, but it just hasn't materialized yet.
Yeah. Well, our Gasparilla was yesterday, and I'm glad the rain held off till today.
I don't think it's going to hold off. I think it's going to continue for a while here. It looks just like circulation over the states. It's not a very pretty day. It's the opposite of what Captain Clyde is seeing. So anyway, Captain Clyde, I'm just about running out of time. Before we go, any parting thoughts? How do people reach you? How do they call you if they want to call you or find you on the web?
Yes, they can go to our website, www.thecrappiepsychic.com, or they can give us a call at 985-790-0862. And that is just to possibly set up a chartered fishing trip for crappie or catfish in September, October, and November, which is a very good time, very fun time. And heck, if they have a question for me, hopefully I'll be able to get back to them. I'm getting busier and busier, which is a blessing for us. And so is this show. I appreciate you guys having me on again. It's always a pleasure.
God bless you, my friend. Parting words, Miss Pam.
No, just one of the best. If you're a freshwater guy and like crappie, go check him out.
Thank you. I appreciate both of you and wish you a wonderful day, regardless of the weather here in South Florida, Miss Pam. And Captain Clyde, God bless you, sir. Looking forward to having you back on. We'll see you all in a week.